Yeah, let me talk to you for a minute. Um, have you ever felt like, yeah, I got my notes here. Have you ever felt like you're just existing? Like you're doing things, you're working, you're getting things done, or at least you feel like you're busy all day, but at the end of the day, you don't think you're doing anything meaningful. I mean, like we're pressing through and we're trying to make it happen, but it seems like I'm in a place right now where I know I'll show up every day, but I don't believe the work that I'm doing is meaningful. I don't believe that it's producing things. In other words, you're active, but you don't feel like you're moving forward. And I believe that's a good place to be at, especially if you're trying to look how to advance yourself and structure yourself to a place where you can see that these meaningful moments are really needed to make sure that you feel like you're reaching a level of success. You feel like you're achieving something. You're just not going through the day-to-day operation. And the problem is that we need to separate our activity from our progression. In other words, we'll go out here and we think coming to work, getting on the computer, going, talking, whatever, that's productive. When actually it's a part of the job. Productive is when you sit back and you analyze and you create little strategies and plans and objectives for each day, a things to do list. And you see how you're slowly chopping those things off. Or you're sitting back and you feel like you're being productive when you can see how your day to day activity is affecting others. How you're seeing that through your alignment with your activities is bringing a sense of progression, a sense of progress, a sense of knowing that you're doing something that is impactful, not only for you, but the operation or the business that you have. And as entrepreneurs, one thing that we seek out to is to make sure that we're not misaligned, that we're making sure that our tasks and our goals objective are reasonable and able to be achieved. There are some times when we get caught up in just being busy, we don't really reach our objectives, or we reach these little mediocre objectives, but not the big picture that we're seeking out. Like, for example, if you're looking to have a better performance from your team, if you're not having one-on-one sessions with them, or if you're not giving them tasks and objectives and holding them accountable, then the progress or what you think the end result may be may not come to fruition because of the fact they lack the guidance and direction. Now you come here, there you get all these game plans and you write down everything, but if you don't deliver it to them, or you don't sit down and talk to them and give your expectations or give them instructions on what needs to be done and how to be done, how it needs to be done, in a time frame for completion, then although you wrote all these things up, if it never gets over to the line where it becomes to a place of progression or a place of execution, then it's just meaningful work. And I think that's where most of us are. We're at a place where our alignment um, is not our priority. It's not bringing forth structure. And I think one of the things that we need to do is look at how we're aligning things and look at how we're trying to structure these different things. We need to be able to focus on our misalignment tasks. Start looking at some of the things that you're doing that is not bringing forth the production or the service that you're looking to have. Look at how you're having these one-on-one sessions. If you're having it, look at how you're displaying your work. Look at how you're planning for the activities. Like, are you sitting down on Sunday, if Monday through Friday is your day of work? Are you looking at Sunday or Saturday and say, hey, let me evaluate my previous day and align things for the next week? Look at your timetable, your schedules. Are you creating these things? Or you just sit back and say, I just work through the process and as it comes, it goes. If you don't have strategic planning time, you don't have a time to evaluate your day-to-day activity or your week activity or your month activity. If you do some self-assessments, then you're going to find yourself feel like you're doing a lot of busy work but not producing. And that comes a lot. And I do understand as entrepreneurs, we're trying to do so many things. We're trying to find our niche. We're trying to see where we land. We're trying to have clients or products or services go out to individuals. And sometimes we get mixed up in the shuffle. And so our alignment gets misconstrued. So one thing that I think, when you start having alignment issues, you're also having structure issues where you didn't set things up in order for your success. And it's easy to get overwhelmed and overlook at some of these key components that are needed in your daily activity by creating a strong structure, a strong platform, a strong things to do list, of things that have worked, or things that have not worked. Creating these timetables where you can sit back and look at, hey, from this is what I got done, and then say, hey, how could I have done this better? If you're in the business of dealing with clients, building products or service for yourself, you need to have those moments where you do those self evaluations, where you do some self reflection. You look at the business from a different lens and ask questions. Find your accountability partner that you can tag up with and say, hey, listen, I would like to talk to you. Here's where I'm at. Here's some of the challenges that I'm facing. What are your thoughts? And see what they come with. You don't have to be a lone ranger right here by yourself trying to make things happen. Sometimes you just need to bring people into into your place so you can just bounce some things off, and that could help you to get more structure. Can get you more in line because maybe somebody outside of your committee will be able to share something with you that will help you to see things from a different lens. And one of the things that I would love for you all to create is a daily priority, a prioritized filter. You know what I mean is that start saying, okay, this week or this day, I want to make sure I achieve this and make it a priority, not something that you're going to think about, not something that's going to go on. No, I have to have this done on Monday and stick to it. And if you don't make it on Monday, take the time, say for example Tuesday, and reflect on the things that prohibit you from getting it. What did you do wrong? Maybe your planning was off. Maybe your approach was a little different. Maybe it was one of those days where your production was low due to other reasons. But if you can keep like a daily log or around a monthly term, you can go back and reflect on these days. You can start seeing how well you perform. You can see how well you engage because you can see what is coming uh, out of your day-to-day activities, and that's something that we should do. And then we should be able to look at anchoring our work on to our outcomes and not our efforts. So a lot of times we're sitting up here and everything so I put effort in, I did this to this, but the outcome doesn't match your efforts, because if you match your efforts, most times it's on your energy level. If you feel more motivated and encouraged, you're going to give more than what you would if you just having that like say as a day. So when you start doing that, your emotions and all that would drive low performance or lack of motivation. Let's look at what we're setting out to do. Sometimes you may not be your best, but you may be more productive. And what I want to lead to this is that you need to figure out when you're most productive in the day, when you feel like you're able to produce at a high level, and when are your low times. I don't care how you look at it, you have those high peak hours. Sometimes it's first thing in the morning. If you're not a day person, it might be in the afternoon after lunch, or maybe that's when you drop off in the lunch. You got to come up with a strategy to help you to see the meaningful work that you're doing. Me, I'm very productive, and this is my plan. When I get to work or when I get out to doing whatever I decide to do that day, I am going to start at 8 o'clock up to 12 o'clock. I can get all the production, all that I'm doing. After I have lunch is that slow time. That's when I start doing my evaluation of did I reach the goals and objectives that I have for that day. I start planning somewhere around the 2, 3 o'clock. I start having my strategic planning where I start laying out and reviewing the things and tasking what I'm going to task for the rest of the week, where I've already planned out what my game plan for the week was on Sunday. Now, say Monday, I am now sitting here Monday afternoon and saying, okay, do I need to tweak any of my objectives, any of my goals, any of my planners, add to something, take away from something, reward myself, encourage myself, add some different tasks in alignment, break them down a little bit more. All that happens in my last hour because I'm not in it in the ideal to creating work. Now I am at that part where I'm slowing down in the afternoon, and now I can think about strategically what I need to do. Where in the beginning of it, I was all energetic and all gun ho to do this, this is all over the place, moving, making sure I get all this task objective. Then I have that lunch stage. I start slowing things down. Now I start preparing for my next day. So you see, I have 3 different layers. I have the part where I'm really energized and engaging. Then I have that part where I start having that reflection, and then I start preparing for the next day. If you can create a system like that that works for you, fine. But if not, you should find a place where you can see that your efforts are meaningful and not sitting up here saying, I'm doing all this work and I don't see things out of the outcome. So if you start looking at your outcome for your day-to-day activity instead of all the effort that you put in there, then you may be able to start balancing things out. So again, there are 3 things we need to look at. You need to consider, is my alignment in place, misaligned or in line? Do I have reasonable tasks and objectives? And am I looking at my outcome or my efforts? If you can kind of filter to those 3 things and start seeing how that you align or misalign, and that your structure is in place, that your outcome and efforts pay off, then you will start seeing the flow, and then you can start appreciating it. But it's all about taking the time to evaluate you and come up with a system that works for you. So I hope I was meaningful with you all. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. Hit the bell so you can be notified about the different things that we have coming out. And look forward to, one thing, sharing this with others. All right, if you haven't subscribed, I'll say again, go ahead and subscribe and help me build this channel up so we can reach more people. If you have any suggestions, comments, go ahead and put them in the comment section and let me know. I'd love to talk to you and see what we can come up with. And if there's something that you would like me to elaborate more on when it comes to this entrepreneurial movement, to your building your self-development and standing as a young professional, seasoned professional that has a little struggle here or there in your business endeavors, look free. Let's talk about it. All right, then. Talk to you soon.